Of course, I want to ask you guys, what commitments you'll make from today's meeting. Otherwise, coaching is just therapy without an action plan. But bottom line, what do you guys want to make sure that we, like, as it relates, if there was one challenge that you're currently facing, and let's be open and vulnerable here, guys, this is a safe place. So let me hear, I'll call on each of you individually. Just share what's the one challenge, if this conversation could help you overcome, what would it be? I'll start with Chris.
One of my, I feel like biggest objections, like when I'm struggling, I feel like with someone to put something together, is when they're here and I go through the process with them, and I find out essentially that the decision maker for that particular scenario is not there. We can't call them, and without them, we can't make a decision. So to me, I feel like in that one instance, every obviously, like, I'm not perfect, but I feel pretty confident in my abilities when I have people in front of me that if they're here to buy a car, I'm going to sell them a car. That one particular, I would say objection, like when they're like, hey, I got to talk to my wife. She's not here. We can't call her. Like that just like chops my legs out from under me. I feel like I don't know how to overcome that.
You got it, brother. We'll tackle that. Jessica, how about you? What's the one thing, if we focus on, if you could take away from our meeting today, would be the most impactful for you?
I mean, that's pretty a broad question, so I don't really know where to go from that. I'm trying to maximize on my time. I really wish you could see me, but I'm really just trying to maximize my time when I'm here. Because at this point in my time, sometimes it does get discouraging when you're not selling, and it has nothing to do with me as a salesperson, because I believe in me and what I can do, but it does make me very uncomfortable at times. And I don't like feeling uncomfortable, because then I have this ease about me that is just, I don't even know the right word, but it just makes me feel unease. And I don't want to feel unease when I really have to try to perform and to do to the best of my ability. So me feeling uncomfortable, meaning as far as like my team and delivering and helping out and contributing, and also trying to make more money financially. So this way I'm not struggling the way I am. So all those things I take into consideration, and that's what I'm dealing with. I don't have a problem with customers. It's very easy for me. If you put someone in front of me, it's just, if they're going to buy today, they're going to buy. If they're not, I have to stay in the mix and keep myself relevant and kind of make myself stand out compared to the other salesmen out there and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's not my issue. My issue is more of just trying to get more people in front of me. So this way I know my personality sells cars. So I just need more in front of me. And so that's what I'm dealing with right now.
Awesome. All right. That's great. That's great, Jessica. Thank you very much. Wendy, how about you? Wendy, what's one challenge that, if we can help you overcome, your biggest obstacle right now to success? What is it?
I wouldn't even know where to start with that, because honestly, like I was talking to Steve about it, it's like I'm so used to working with customers with credit challenges, to the point that like I don't know how to work with a customer sometimes.
I think what she's trying to say is that she's so used to working bad credit customers that when she gets someone that comes in here that has an 800 credit score, she kind of loses her footing on how her process should go.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. You get used to the good pay, or the credit challenge customers, and you're working them backwards, and now you got a good pay, and you got to make that switch in your head. All right. Let me get Randy. Randy, what's your one challenge? If we could, in this meeting, help you overcome it, what would it be?
Well, I'll kind of piggyback off of what Chris said, essentially. Just having the decision makers available and having, trying to get that sale right now. The other would be, getting folks in the door, and we can't get them done because of credit situations. Like last month, I had a ton of people that I was able to get inside the door. I just could not close them because there was no money available. They didn't have co-signers, and their credit scores were way too rough to even try to put something together for them, or just having the trustworthiness of the actual customer itself. I think that's where my biggest problem, occurs.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Awesome. Jamil, what about you, my friend? If there were, and thank you for joining, Jamil. It's awesome to see the managers on here too. If there was one thing, one biggest challenge you feel like that you would want this webinar to help you guys overcome, what would it be?
I would say it's big on the transition of us more selling the vehicle. Because I guess when we were lacking of inventory, it was kind of, we were at that point of saying, take it or leave it, because I got 5 more customers looking at the car. But now I have 20 of the same car. I can't say that. And every other dealership has them too. So if we're not selling the car and we're not selling ourselves and we're not selling the dealership, that's going to be, because before it was more of the number. If as long as we were beating the next guy, because they're charging 10 grand over, we're charging 7 grand over, then we got the deal. So it was all a numbers thing. And I think more now, it's more that we need to sell the car for first and foremost, and then sell ourselves, as I said, sell the dealership. Because obviously, yes, now everybody has the car. So if you explain the car in full in what they're looking for, obviously you get to the points of what's their buying points. Do they need navigation? Do they need this? Is safety a big thing? Is gas mileage a big thing? Those are the things that we need to find out when the customer's coming in, and obviously sell those points to the customer, and then also obviously sell yourself, because they can buy from any Joe Schmo, but if they like Chris, or if they like Randy, or if they like John, or they like T, they're gonna want to come back. And then on top of that, then also sell the dealership, let the dealership know what we provide, how we provide service of going to pick up the cars, going to drop off the cars, how we go beyond what other dealerships do. So I think that's like our biggest right now, is to convert from selling the number to going back to selling the product, selling the salesperson selling himself, and us selling the dealership.
Amen. Yeah. And I love what Jamil said, guys, the 3 things, right? There are 3 things that always need to be sold: the car, the dealership, and you. And if you do that, then, you know, no doubt, like, it hasn't been important because of the inventory situation, but now things have changed. And can you guys see my screen? Are you looking at the sigmoid curve? Okay, cool. So what this is, I put together some stuff over the weekend. Just shows you what kind of life I have. But no, when Steve and I talked late Friday, it was like, man, so I put together some stuff that I think is going to help you guys get some clarity on where we're at, what's going on, and specifically what changes we can make as individuals and as a team to help us get through this time. But what you're looking at here is it's called the sigmoid curve, and it measures success over time. And basically, anytime things change, when things change, we'll generally take a dip in success, and that's when we're in the learning phase. And then what happens is as we get used to the new situation, we grow, we get better and better. And then at some point we reach a peak, and then we start declining. So if you think about it, like, you know, maybe back when the inventory shortage began, first we took this dip in success, right? Because we were having a hard time getting people in the door. We didn't know how to pre-sell. We didn't know how to, you know, sell orders and stuff like that. And then, you know, we took a dip in success, but then we realized, hey, this is going to help us. And we got really good at all those things. And we got better and better and better and living in that world, right? And now, check it out. Now, maybe we're over that hump and we're in this decline phase now, right? So what's the solution? So let me show you the sigmoid curve, the next slide here, which if I can figure it, stand by, sorry. Is it changing on my screen? Did it change? Hold on.
No, not yet. It just showed.
Sorry. Technical difficulties. I'm usually pretty good at stuff like this. Hold on one second.
You saw Colton Wong whiffing on a pitch.
Did you see that? Hey, what a good slide. All right, hold on one second. All right, hold on. I'm just going to do it this way. Is that all right? All right, so sigmoid curve. So what's the answer? So what it boils down to is there's always going to be peaks and valleys, especially in the car business. Sorry, I'm losing control. My freaking computer's got to have its own. So there's always going to be peaks and valleys, but what we need to do is we need to strategically change before the plummet, or if we're in the middle of the plummet, we need to strategically change. And that's all that's happening right now, guys. We've just rode this wave over the peak, right? And now we're just taking this dip. But now it's up to us to start this new life path. So to win against change, we have to proactively change. And that's the first mindset I want you guys to adopt today. Second off is, the reason I have this whiff in this pitch here is because basically when we go into a slump, and this is true for baseball players, it also is true for car selling professionals. When we go into a slump, we generally start changing our swing. All the basics that we've all been learning, you know, since Little League baseball, we throw out the window and we start trying to change it up. You can tell that guy, he doesn't have a good stance. His eye sure as hell isn't on the ball. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So what do we need to do? We need to go back to basics. So when you're in a slump, we need to focus on what we know works consistently, no matter what. You know, I love, Jessica said something earlier, right? She talked about, I got to differentiate myself and have my brand. And then Wendy, I heard Wendy talk about how, you know, having that process and being able to stick to it when you have that new, you know, the good pay customers that can buy anything they want. You know, Jamil was mentioning it, right? Selling the 3 things that we got to sell. So when you're in a slump, go back to the basics, focus on what you know works consistently no matter what. The second thing is this, all right? Where do you spend your time? All right. And your body is always in the present, right? We're always, our bodies cannot exist in the past or the future, but our minds can go anywhere. So if you're focused on, you know, the past, man, I wish it was still like this. I wish we were still crushing these grosses. And I wish, then you're not in the now. You're just, you know, you're thinking about the past that cannot be changed. And if you're worried about the future, if you're like, man, how am I going to pay my bills? Or what if it stays like this? Or what? That's just future possible outcomes that may or may not happen. More than likely, it's probably going to be, you know, it's probably not going to be awesome and it's probably not going to be horrible. It'll probably be somewhere in between. But the point is if you're spending if your mind is not present, you can't be what? Think about that. So we got to let go of the past, say, screw all the awesome gross. And I'm not saying we don't want awesome grosses. Okay. I'm saying screw whatever happened last week, last month, that's over. And let's stop worrying about what tomorrow brings because it doesn't even exist yet. The present is a gift. We need to let go and live in the now. All right. And here's the last mindset I want to share with you guys, which is the circle of, it's basically your circle of concern. Okay. A lot of people spend a lot of energy on things they can't influence and things they can't control, you know, AKA virus, economy, things like, you know, rebates and incentives from your manufacturer, who's got the latest and greatest models and stuff. That's all in your circle of concern. Okay. But the most successful people focus on the circle of control. And this is you know what made me think of this too, is I was with Paul Jr. in New York, or wherever we were. Where were we? We were in New York. I'm sorry. Wherever Paul and I were, Las Vegas. And literally we were riding a tram back from, it was like 1 a.m. We were just about to, you know, hit the hay for the night. We're riding the tram back and he goes, John, you know, someone asked him, how are you always so cool under pressure, Paul? And he's like, I just focus on what I can control. And and what I find is the most successful people focus on what they can control. So if you expand your circle of control and stop worrying, don't waste any energy on crap that is in your circle of concern, because you can do, what can you do about the economy? What can you do about the rebates? Nothing, right? You can only focus on you. So if you expand your circle of control, and you'll get way better results in life. So with that in mind, I want to weave in your guys' challenges into this, but I want each of you to answer this individually, and then we'll discuss.